What is going on, guys? Welcome back to GTA Online, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Peggasi Torero, which is going to be the new car added in the recent update on GTA Online. Well, at least one of 5 current cars you can get. This is basically going to be a Lamborghini Countach, and I really do think they did a great job with the cars in this update. I'm really loving this one a lot. Now, to get this vehicle will cost you a little under $3 million. Basically, to max it out is going to cost well over $3 million, but nonetheless, let's go customize it. So now jumping right into the customization of the new Pegassi here, let's jump right into this, starting off with the armor here. So 40%. By the maxed out brakes, head over to the bumpers. So there's going to be 16 bumpers for this car, which is kind of crazy. From what I also saw, by the way, guys, this car seems to have the most customization. Out of most of the vehicles I have used so far, I would say the Pegassi is probably going to have the most, and it's also probably going to be one of the best looking cars as well. I mean, I really do love the overall design of this vehicle. So there's going to be a lot of these splitters you can throw on the vehicle, basically just different colored and or forged. You're going to have like the painted and the carbon and all that stuff. And well, honestly, these really do not look all that bad on this car. Sometimes they look like a snowplow, and luckily on this vehicle they actually do fit it pretty dang well. Zoom in a little bit to check these out here. So that is a lot of splitters that you can put on the car, but personally I'm going to end up going with probably just a regular forged front end one there. I think that will look the best. Let's move over to the rear bumpers now. So we have 13 of these. So we will first have the bumper delete there, which I think would look kind of insane having like a twin turbo kit on there. Then we have the secondary diffuser. Then we'll have the forge, which I'll probably go with that one to match the front. And we're going to have the other part, which brings the other piece of the diffuser down, which does fit the car pretty nicely. So I do give them a lot of credit with this vehicle so far, is it seems like a lot of the parts do fit the car really well, and it's not like hanging out the side or something like that. So that's also really good to know with this vehicle. There's the other upgraded one right there. So I would say they all look pretty dang cool for the most part. For me, I'm going to leave the one I have on the vehicle, but luckily all the ones do fit, which is a big plus in my opinion with that. So here's the canyons. There'll be 12 of these sticking out the side of the car. Got the forged as well if you guys want to add that to it. Also changes the front bumper, which for me personally, I kind of like the dual grille covers. I think that's going to be pretty cool looking on this. Then we have the canyons on there. Then we're going to add that, basically adding the canyons to each of the upgraded ones there. So for me, I'm probably going to go with the regular covers on there. Move over to the engine here and max that out. Heading over to the exhaust will be 15 of these. Those titanium ones look insane. Wow. Let's add that to it. We have the carbon. Kind of see them a little bit. The performance. And we have the titanium performance, which look really good as well. I might as well just buy them all, even though that doesn't really do anything. We have the street. Then we have titanium again. And then moving down to the carbon ones, then we have the infinity exhausts, which I kind of like those as well. You kind of see how like they're basically like connected but open in the middle. We have the titanium version of that. We have the carbon version. Moving down to the turbo exhausts. And we're going to have that one there, which is going to be the... Oh my, look at that. So I did end up adding the titanium turbo to the vehicle because I think those look amazing. Then we're going to have the carbon at the bottom here, which also look pretty cool. Let's move over now to the hoods, which will be the back of the vehicle. I'll add the vents on the top. Then you have the carbon on the bottom and the top there. Which I might end up adding this one to the car because I do think the forge looks insanely good on here. So let's add that to it. So that's going to be the cross vent. That'll add more vents to the top there besides the other one that I have on the vehicle. More forged. And the other one's going to be painted. And then carbon again. And then finally we're going to have the forge. I'm actually really digging that one instead. So let's add that to it. Then moving over to the lights here are basically going to be like normal with the other vehicles. You can head over to your arena workshop if you would like. And add some colored headlights to the car. I'm personally not going to do that. Then we have the liveries. The tricolor. We're going to have the side there which says Pegassi on it, which looks pretty awesome. I might end up adding that to it. We have the white one. We're also going to have the tricolor two-tone. That looks really cool. I like that. Wow. Probably not going to go with orange on that. Maybe like if you had white on the bottom, then silver on the top would look pretty nice. Then we have the white stripes around it. We're going to have the red. Then that livery. Then we'll have the other one after that. This one's going to actually have 12 as well. Then finally we'll have the last one. Looks almost like a camo kind of thing. I do think the camo liveries are actually really cool on the cars. I do see why they did that because I did notice a lot of Lambos and stuff, like looking on Google, did have a lot of these setups on them, and they do look pretty insane for that matter. So I do think the camo is a pretty cool approach to it. Now, I originally thought about adding the black Pegassi to the side of the vehicle, but I actually ended up leaving this completely stock because I do think it looks a lot better that way. So moving over to the respray, so for me, I'm going to end up going with an orange color on this car. Probably like a brightish orange if I can find the one that I do like with this. Let's head down over here. Thinking more of the regular orange color. I do like the darkness of that and the overall color tone of this orange compared to the sunrise. And then for the pearlescent, I'm probably going to end up making this bright orange to really brighten up the car a lot more. Then heading over to the secondary color here, which is black, which I might just end up leaving that just like that, honestly. Then we'll have the trim color for the interior, which for this I could end up making this orange or something, but what I would do if this was like my vehicles, I would try to have like the orange stitching in the car to match the color. So for this, I'll probably just leave like the graphite color on there, not to really overdo the orange in this interior, which is going to be on many of the other vehicles, obviously, because the interiors are kind of copy and pasted. Now let's head over to the roofs that can go on the vehicle, and it seems there's a lot of these as well. So we have 16 other options. To the regular there, and we have the forge, which I'm actually going to put that on. Full carbon, which looks a little too much carbon for me. I think it even goes down the side of the car. I'm not really liking that too much. Then the ridgeline roof, which has like the upgrades, kind of goes into the back perfectly. You can definitely tell they did upgrade this vehicle really well because everything goes into it just so nicely. Look at that. Even the top of that roof looks really good on there. And the carbon plus the forged in the middle adds the vents that go right back into the other vents in the back of the car. I really do like the design of that. That's cool. Same with this one. And then coming down to the last couple of roofs here will basically be the carbon and then the forged. We have the last one making the entire thing carbon and the middle. That's a little too much for me, to be honest, but that really doesn't look all that bad. I just personally wouldn't add that to my vehicle. Let's head over to the skirts now. We have 18 of these. My goodness. Okay. Probably going to be a forged one somewhere, which is right there. Let's add that to it. We have the XL skirt, secondary, and then we're going to have forged. Then we have the street. So far, most of the parts on this vehicle look really nice. Like, for example, the skirts are actually fitting this car perfectly, unlike some of the other ones, where they literally stick out and you can, like, run into something with it and get stuck or something like that. I really don't know why some of the cars look so bad with that. I don't know why that is, but you could definitely see some of the cars looking pretty awful with some of that. But these fit the car really nicely. Look at that down there. So there's the big one, which honestly, all of these do look pretty good on this vehicle. I'm just personally going to go with the other one there because I think it fits the car the best. At least for the setup I'm going after on this vehicle, I would say the skirt that I have picked out will probably be the best, although all the ones I've looked at for this car do look really good. Let's head over to the spoilers now. Carbon wing. And the forge is going to pretty much go right through the other part of the forge, which looks really cool. Then we have the ducktail, which for some weird reason, I'm actually really digging the ducktail on this car. I really don't know why, but those just look really good. Like the forge one looks nice on there. Then we have the performance wing, which reminds me of the wing that's on the other Lamborghini. Then we're going to have the low level. I don't really like how those look on this car too much, but I do like the Pegassi wing on this vehicle. For me, I'll probably make that forged, which I would say is probably one of the best looking wings on this car because it really does fit the curves of the vehicle literally perfectly. Let's head down to the super wing now. Then finally the carbon, and then we have the forged after that. So I would say I really haven't seen one bad piece of customization for this car so far. They did a really good job with this, wow. So competition, add the transmission to it, and then we're going to do the frunk. Probably make this forged as well, but I don't want to have too much on there because I do want the detail of the car there as well. So there's that one. In the lines, I'm not really digging any of these at the moment, I'm not going to lie. So for me, I'm probably going to end up leaving those completely stock. I'm just not really a huge fan of that. Although the regular carbon and or the forged over here do look pretty cool, I'm most likely going to leave that off of my car for the front of it at least. I mean, they don't really look bad. I just don't think it really fits what I'm trying to do with that. Let's move over and add the turbo to it. Then we have the vents on the side, which I'm going to end up going with forged on this to match the other parts of the vehicle. And then for me with the wheels, I really do like the stock rims on this car, so I'm probably going to end up leaving this on the vehicle. But besides that, guys, that's basically all the customization that can be done to the Pegassi here, which I would say it's pretty dang impressive for being a car in GTA Online. I mean, a lot of the other vehicles in the DLC had good customization, but I would even go as far as saying the Pegassi is probably going to be your best bet. You could probably get a really cool built car with this thing with the amount of upgrades you can do to it. But nonetheless, let's go do an outside look of this vehicle. Then I want to take this thing on a little test drive around the city to really see how it might drive. Then I'll also do a top speed run to see what it can get to. So now taking an outside look at the new Peggasi Torero, we can all agree this is definitely going to be one of the best looking cars of this update. Now I know this thing's going to be over $3 million with the upgrades, but I would say this car is going to be well worth it. Just look at the overall detail of this vehicle. They really did get it very close to the actual Countach, which is kind of insane. Now let's open it up. Let's see how this vehicle might look with all the doors open. Maybe get some detail of the engine. Ooh, look at the detail, even the orange on there plus the shock. So the engine has some good detail to it. Then we're going to have the interior view, which the interior of this car is going to be in many of the other cars in the game as well. But at least it does look better than some of the really bad interiors from the beginning of the game. And here's the frunk over here, which obviously does not have much of anything in it. But besides that, let's go take this thing on a test drive now. Now, just in case you wanted to see the interior view of this vehicle, I have to admit it does look pretty dang updated, at least for the most part, even though I'm sure many players are probably tired of seeing this set of interior. I do like the orange stitching around the car, as I was mentioning when I was customizing it, so at least we do have that, but I can definitely see why a lot of people might actually get mad at this. Now let's go take the new Pegassi around the city for a little test drive, and can we also appreciate how the forge looks on this car? Like, the detail of that looks absolutely insane. Let's take a listen to that engine. Now, I would say the engine sound of this vehicle does sound pretty good, even though it's very similar to some of the other Pegassis in the game, which I think would make sense because a lot of the Lambos do sound very similar. But let's go take this thing for a little test drive around the city now. So let's fly out of here and hopefully not run into anybody, as I almost did. Let's go head toward the beach. Now, I'm wondering how this car is really going to perform, because we all know the traction won't be as good as the new LM87, but hopefully the car can still be used on a lot of things like time trials, which I would say it probably can be, because the Pegassi Ignis can also be used on a lot of those events, and that thing is insanely fast as well. So speed's pretty nice. I am kind of going over a very weird part of the area right now. Let's go right here and head this way. Excuse me. Flying through all the red lights because we got to break them laws here in Los Santos. So I'm doing 130 if that's correct there, 150 almost hitting the bumps. This car is going to get kind of crazy in the city, which, as I did mention before, most of the cars, because of the handling flags, can probably hit like 140 to 150 normally in the city. So it's kind of average for this vehicle, I would say. Whoa! I almost crashed there. So the brakes seem pretty good. I'll try to go really fast over here in this area. 150 there. Wow, 150 is kind of crazy. So I would say in some areas this car might be able to hit like 165 or so. 155 there. Oh my, let's hit the brakes. So the brakes seem pretty good, which is going to be a big plus, because sometimes the cars have really bad brakes, and that is not fun having a car that's really fast and it literally cannot stop. Like, I do not understand why that is a thing. Whoa. Why did I keep almost... Whoa! So I did end up repairing my vehicle because I did crash pretty hard a second ago, and I did not want to drive my vehicle around looking like that. Well, let's go jump onto the highway now because I do want to see the speed of this vehicle on flat ground. Can you actually imagine if your car could go faster hitting a curb? That would make literally no sense whatsoever. But now jumping onto the highway and heading into this San Andreas area, let's see what this car can do on a flat ground area of the highway here. Then I'll also do a top speed run on the tunnel area back there as well, because I feel like that is the best place to do it. So let's go into first person here. So a lot of the vehicles I have driven from this update seem to be able to stay around like 125 to 130, pretty much average on the highway. So I'm wondering how this car is going to do compared to that. So 135 there. A little tiny bump shot me to 146 miles an hour, which is crazy. The handling of the car does seem pretty good as well. I would probably say it will get kind of squirrely compared to like the LM87, but I really haven't seen much of any issues with this vehicle so far. I'm a huge fan of Lamborghini in real life because I really do love every car they make, and the Countach is beautiful. I do love that thing, so this car is going to look very close to that. I might be able to argue that this is probably one of the best looking cars in this update besides the LM87. That car looks insanely close to its real life counterpart as well. So from the testing I've done on this highway so far, this car's been averaging around 130 miles an hour or so. Now, depending on where you are on the highway, I noticed in this game, and or depending on the road, your car is going to go kind of slow, but luckily this car's not doing that. So I'm averaging 131 miles an hour. Basically, an area over here is where a lot of the cars do slow down a lot, and they really lose a lot of speed for some weird reason. I really do not know why, but it looks like this car is not 135 there. It's kind of hard to see with the glare of the sun, even though the sun is going down. Oh no, a log truck. Don't hurt me. So I would say the handling of this vehicle is probably going to be pretty dang good from what I could see so far. Can it actually turn with the LM87? Probably not, but for a supercar, I would say it's going to be pretty dang good. Now let's go see what the top speed of the Pegassi is, because I do want to see what this car can get to on flat ground, even though I would say heading over here on the highway probably gave me a pretty dang good idea of what this car can really do on this highway over here and or on flat ground. So I'm going to take a guess and say around 135 miles an hour, so it'll probably be pretty much the highest top speed of this vehicle. Now in the city, you could probably do almost 160 or so, depending on where you are, in like that little highway area entering the city. Whoa, Mini Cooper, you just like glitched over like 3 lanes. Imagine if people could do that in real life. That'd be really scary. So I'm averaging 134 miles an hour right now, 132. So I would say the top speed of this vehicle will probably be around 135, depending on the road you are on. I noticed like going over little hills and all that sometimes slow the vehicle down in very odd ways, but I would say this car is going to be pretty dang fast. So I've actually been averaging 131 in this entire area, so that might be like the legit top speed of the car. hitting like a little hill or something like that might increase its speed just a little bit. But that'll pretty much do it for the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the Pegassi in the comments below. I would definitely say after the testing I have done, the LM87 and the Pegassi here are probably going to be the best cars I've driven in this update so far. The only unfortunate thing is the fact that, well, they will run you over $6 million for both. But these cars are definitely really fun to drive. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you all so much for watching.